How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting, and welcome back to Aokana for Rhythms Across the Blue Sky tournament time. Okay, so we are kicking things off, and I don't know how quickly we're going to end up playing or not, but we're at the opening ceremony. We kind of got the stage set, we got the mood going, and it's kind of interesting how hostile the mood already feels. It looks like the first game that we're probably going to end up watching, or at least the one that we feel will be the most spirited, will be Misaki versus Rika. Just because they're both our friends, and they already are kind of determined, right? At least Misaki seems flippant about it, but that's always how she seems. And Rika seems to be taking it very, very seriously, which again, she always does, but it's kind of hits harder when it's like, yeah, these are our friends. That's gonna kind of suck, but I'm excited all the same. I think it'll be good to play, and I'm excited to see what everyone else thinks about this. So I don't know there's much else to say. Let's just jump right in, shall we? There's no real routine to follow at the start of an FC tournament, so everyone's just scattered around the beach as the opening ceremony begins. The tournament chair begins with a short welcome speech, then proceeds to go over the rules and safety precautions. As he finishes, fireworks streak up into the beautiful blue sky and explode with a soft bang. Daylight fireworks. Never quite understood those. And with that... Yep. The tournament finally begins. This tournament's supposed to have a grand total of 64 matches. Still, I'm sure there'll be a far less in the end. People tend to drop out for a variety of reasons, which always cuts down the number significantly. Though even if they took that into consideration, it would still be too many matches for one day. And that's why we're only doing the first round today. The rest of them all take place on the second day. That makes sense too, because basically the way tournaments go with brackets is that you're kind of having your pool every time. So 64 total matches, but only half of those are supposed to be happening today, which would be 32, and each match probably, didn't they say that each match can typically ends within 5 to 10 minutes kind of a thing? So that's not too bad. Still a long time, especially because there's gonna be a lot of prep and cycling and stuff, but yeah, very interesting. Make sure to watch the schedule closely. You need to start warming up 2 matches early. Misaki, please. Just trust me, okay? Otherwise you might end up getting knocked out right away. The human body can't just go from 0 to 100 on command. Thank you. I have faith, Mashiro. I know you're going up against a pretty tough opponent for your first one, but do your best. Look, Satoin-san may be good, but she's not unbeatable. Gonna do everything in my power to help you pull out a win, so you better do the same. Cool with that dry laugh. Cooler with the dry laugh, Mashiro. You're already low odds are taking a nosedive. Doesn't she promise Misaki a miracle earlier? What order are we going in? Shion's first, then Michiroshi, Misaki, and Asuka. Okay. Let's see, I've got 30 minutes into Prez's match. Maybe I can use the time to scout his opponent. I have a strategy meeting with Prez before his match. I suppose that's about the most strategy we can expect. Listen, don't do anything. I don't know anything about this Saki Unui. Usually, it's easy enough to find out a person's playstyle by asking around, but my hunt ended in vain. Only thing I learned is that she transferred to Kairyuu Academy from overseas earlier this year. Still, we should try. Glad to hear you're confident. Anyway, there's something I wanted you to hear before this match. Maybe you should save those lines for the match? Seems like his head's already in the game. Well, that's probably a good thing in this case. This stays between us, but I think you're the only one of our club members who has a shot at the title. Prez slowly shifts his gaze upward after he hears me say that. I'm serious here. Misaki probably has a 1% chance of beating Shindo-san, and that's a pretty generous estimate even. No, you have something she doesn't that could help you crush him. I'd never say this in front of her, and obviously I'll do everything I can to help her beat him, but that's not what I truly believe. And she'll never admit it, but I bet even Misaki feels the same. So that's why I believe you have a legit chance of stealing a win. Fact of the matter is, you probably are below average Skywalker overall, but luckily you have a unique weapon that's hard to counter, and if you can use it right, no one will be able to stop you. His straight fly speed is unparalleled, which makes him hard to beat if he can just reach top speed, and that's something no opponent would ever expect. If he ignores every other aspect of the game, he can reach the second buoy within 30 seconds, and from there, he can clear each line within 25 to 30 seconds. That is impressive, actually. That speed of his is comparable to professional speedsters. Only difference is, actual pros have more to their game than pure speed. In other words, he's basically a glass cannon. And that may have its drawbacks, but also has its own set of strengths. Sure, he hasn't won anything yet, but I think he can mostly be chalked up to bad luck. A lot of people would probably disagree with me, since most like to say there is no luck involved in sport. That's definitely not true, though. But I'm sticking to my guns here. Things could get dicey if your opponent stops you from reaching top speed early. Basically, yeah, but if you manage to not get shut down the second line, it'll be hard for anyone to catch you. And that's his one shot at beating any opponent. That's why I think you're the only one of us who could beat Shindo-san. It's a long shot, though. It's odd. I expected him to be a lot more excited after this little pep talk. I was sure my speech would help him. Is he gonna be okay? No, this is no time to start doubting myself. As a second, I need to cheer him up. So yeah, Prez, let's make you the champion. I feel bad because I have a feeling that they're going to show us how scary that one transfer student is by just having her absolutely destroy him. Let's do this. Just make sure not to get stopped in the second line. You'll pull out a win. He's at least learned some simple feints, so maybe, just maybe, he can win. For better or worse, I've got to put all my eggs in that basket. Alright, Shion, do your best. Prez activates his grab shoes and flies toward first. A girl approaches me with a smile on her face. She's wearing a headset, which must mean she's Kiryu Academy's second. Huh, she doesn't look all that Japanese. Must be from overseas.
Domo. Konnichiwa.
Hello. Oh, hi.
Yoroshiku ne. Watashi wa Irina.
Irina, okay. Like, I get this impression that you are going to have this really haughty, like, holier-than-thou attitude. Just a hunch. She winks at me. Well, she seems nice enough. I'm Hinata. Nice to meet you too. Irina gazes up at the girl who's flying toward first. That must be Saki Inui.
あの子は日本で試合するのは初めてなんです。だからそこは
A smile suddenly blooms on her face as she thinks over her words.
あ、わかりました。お手柔らかに。どうです？正しいですよね。
Oh man.
日本語うまくいってます？
Wish I could just learn Japanese. Yeah, it's fine, I think. Honestly, it sounds a little broken, but I'm getting the gist of it. He just said that this is Saki Inui's first tournament match in Japan, right? Does that mean she's been in some overseas?
そうです。あんまり強くないので、だからお手柔らかにです。
Don't believe that for a second. Yeah, I hope you guys take it easy on us too.
はい。
Irina-san trots off from me after the exchange. And she's gone. I look up at Saki Inui.
よろしくだ。
Prez greets her in a friendly manner.
よろしく。
It's her. I barely make out a reply though through the headset. She sounds motionless? Maybe she's just not used to speaking Japanese because her years playing FC overseas? Should have asked Irina-san what country they came from. General FC skills a lot higher in America, Northern Europe, and Southern Asia, but that's not the case for much of the rest of the world. I take a closer look at her. She's rather short and skinny. Maybe she's one of those fighters that constantly zip around the field to attack and defend? Man, that'd make a bad matchup for Prez. Huh? Hold on, what kind of grav shoes are those? They look like little demons. They don't look like Misuki's, the small grooves or invades. Never seen anything like them before. Maybe they're from a small overseas manufacturer. Well, not like that really matters. Prez can only play in one specific way, so her style and equipment won't ever factor into our gameplay. Better start things off on a good note. Let's rumble. Referee's voice reaches my ear through the headset, and then so does their whistle. It's time. Huh? Uh-oh. She's also a speedster. Right as Prez starts to dive diagonally toward a low yo-yo, Inui does the same. Prez! Inui's also a speedster. Okay. I bet you we'll have a better one, but this could be a good thumbnail right here. Oop. Inui quickly overtakes Prez, so he ends up in her dust. What kind of speeder is she? There are only ones who focus on initial speed and ones who focus on top speed. The fact she's already ahead of Prez probably means she's an early speed type, and if that's the case, he has a clear advantage. Speeders versus speeder matchups depend entirely upon top speed. Luckily, Prez invested all his attribute points in maxing out speed, so there's no way he'll lose. Now, I wonder who's going to time their climb better. That's what'll set the pace of the match. Skywalkers need to climb out of the low yo-yos in a gentle curve in order to maintain as much of their built-up speed as possible. Unfortunately, Prez is wearing grav shoes that essentially lock his posture, so that isn't his strong suit. Well, whatever. We'll let her have the first line. He'll just need to pass her on the second one to take control of the match. Oh my gosh. Inui changes her flight trajectory with a light motion that appears to be little more than her raising her chin. She's good. That was extremely smooth. Guess that confirms that she's focuses on initial speed. Prez also enters a climb, though he's noticeably slower than Inui. Plus, his motions are somewhat stiff. I swear they're like night and day. Inui uses the recoil from touching the second to accelerate. Wow, that's just as smooth as her low yo-yo. The radius of the arc she flew was so narrow, it's hard to believe she's a speedster. She's basically flying like a return capsule spacecraft coming into the atmosphere, where you have to hit this really specific angle and speed because you can't go too steep or else you'll burn up in the atmosphere. You can't go too shallow because then you can actually refract off the atmosphere and bounce across the atmosphere and re-enter badly. You have to do it just right. And she's hitting these angles perfectly. Unlike most of them, she's using her smooth form and boost from the buoy touches to gain speed instead of relying on straight flight. I can see Prez calling that a cheap trick. This is weird. She'd make a better fighter or all-rounder with that skill set, so why is she a speedster? Well, whatever. Scores 0-1 now. Prez touches the buoy and accelerates shortly after Inui. Of course, he doesn't get any points from that since she got to it first. The reason he didn't jump to the next line in spite of that is because he valued the speed boost from the buoy more. Makes sense. Right now he needs to pick up speed. Closing the gap between them can come later. Okay, time to show them what you can do. He assumed a forward bent position and accelerates rapidly. His opponent's no fighter or all-rounder, which means there's no way for them to stop him. There's no chance of his weak point being exposed, so he has no need to hold back. Go, Prez. Huh? Is she just faster, though? That's weird. Prez is picking up speed, and yet the gap between them is closing. It is, but it's not enough. Prez is fast as always, which means Inui must be incredibly fast as well. I mean, the fact that he's catching up means he's still faster, but this is bad. I look toward her second, Irina-san. Maybe taking longer than expected, but Prez is definitely gaining ground. However, she's not giving Inui any instructions and says she's just looking up all smiles. Does that mean she isn't even worried about him overtaking her? I cover the mic with my hand to keep Prez from hearing me. Take a deep breath. Calm down. I've got no reason to panic, shout out instructions right now either. There's no doubt in my mind Prez is catching up. In a match between two speedsters who are as fast as them, the total score will probably go over 20. Losing 2 or 3 points this early is no big deal. Inui touches the third. He uses it to accelerate. Now 0-2. It's fine. If it keeps this up, Prez will win. Ugh. I grit my teeth. Is she just not giving in? Oh my gosh, how? Inui touched the third, bringing the score to 0-10. How did this happen? Prez kept nearly catching up to Inui during the second half of the line, but never once managed to overtake her. There's 3 reasons for that. Number 1, Inui touches buoys ahead of him. The buoy is made to move as little as possible, but they still shake a little right after getting touched, and it's hard to get a proper speed boost when it's shaking. Number 2, the 90-degree curve you need to make whenever you switch to the next line. Since Prez is trying to overtake his opponent, he's constantly accelerating. Unfortunately, that also means he has to do a hard brake before the curve, which is extremely inefficient. It makes the matter worse, he's also forced to fly a much larger arc than his opponent due to his playstyle. Ultimately, these 2 things combine to hit him with a massive drop in speed. So basically, assuming that she doesn't have some type of technical advantage, that her form is just so perfect, he can't gain advantage over it because she keeps her corners tight, she keeps getting the boost from the buoys themselves, and she kind of has him on the Speedsters version of a back foot, which we haven't really seen before. So, Number 3, the position of pursuer. When it's fighter versus fighter, being behind your opponent is a huge advantage since that makes it easier to score points. However, it's the other way around in a battle of Speedster. If you touch your opponent anywhere, it'll throw both of you off balance, but they'll fly forward while you go backward. Due to that, you need to stay clear of your opponent's reach while you're trying to pass them. And since the one in front is flying straight down the line toward the buoy, you're forced to take the long way around. Inui is masterfully using all 3 of these to neuter Prez, who's technically faster than her. Yep. So she has higher initial speed, but what we're seeing is a controlled speedster here. I guess that's what I would call it. It'd be, instead of pure speed, it's controller. So she's basically got to walk that perfect line. Not walk the perfect line. So I'm trying to think of this. I'm not thinking of this. I'm thinking of this actively in terms of racing, where you have kind of this ideal line where you go around the corners, where you swing wide as you approach the corner, cut in as you go through the corner, and then go wide again on the other side, because that leaves you with as close to a straightaway as possible, meaning you don't have to reduce your speed to go around the corner. And when you're in a race, both cars are trying to go as fast as they can. However, the one in front tends to try and stay on that main line, and a pursuing car has to swing wide, usually, to try and go around them. But the problem is swinging wide either results usually in a reduction of your speed. So once you're in the lead, if you can control those lanes and you can keep yourself in the right positions, you can make it so difficult for someone to pass you. You're just kind of stuck behind them, which is essentially what we're seeing here. It's just an aerial version, which is kind of crazy to think about. Because you have 3 dimensions, it feels like you might be able to work other lines to try and get there. But if you're working on a pure optimal route and the buoys are all at the same level, the playing field essentially is a 2-dimensional playing field, well, you can move through 3 dimensions, but the optimal route is essentially going to be a single 2-dimensional track, just like a racetrack. So when you're dealing with that and you have someone who's mastered their form so well, I really not sure how you could beat this. Not with another speedster style, but even then, wouldn't she leave behind a fighter or all-rounder in the dust? Meaning this tactic should be able to work really well. Seems Inui's used to battling other speedsters. If this keeps up, he won't even be able to mount a comeback. We have to turn the tide somehow and fast. Prez!
Shirada!
It sounds excited. I have a suggestion.
不利を称して乾の足に後ろからタッチしろとかショートカットして流れを変えろとか
Got it.
無粋なことを言うつもりじゃないだろうな
I really like this. I like how Prez won't compromise his standards to win. I think there is something genuinely more fun. Personally, I find much more respectable where somebody is would rather lose doing their best rather than using underhanded tactics to try and win. I understand that as long as it's within the bounds of the rules, technically you should do whatever you can, and push comes to shove, no one's gonna blame you for that. But it's so in line with the way I like to think and approach things, where I'd rather just be beat if it means I'm doing I'm performing in a way that I feel is honorable, which is another reason why I'll never and have never been successful at competitive sports and video games, is because I have this weird streak of honor where I would rather lose, even if it meant I would rather lose honorably than win in a way that made me feel dirty. Who cares if it's manly or not? Sure, you may overtake her at some point, but if you keep this up, you'll lose any chance of winning. We have to do something before it's too late.
ひなた、俺は今最高に楽しいぜ。
Huh?
スピードこそ最強だ。俺は最速を目指す。そして俺より速い奴がいる。ならば、俺はそれを全力で追い抜くしかあるまい。
He sounds like a freaking knight. Just kind of like the idea is just like, it's not about winning. It's about seeing a challenge, a goalpost, a thing I need to reach and push for. He's like, I just want to see if I can pass her. This is an FC match, not a race.
分かってる。しかし、俺はこの方法しか練習しなかったんだ。小細工はしない。それに流れを変えろというが、これ以上の俺の流れがあるか?
It's true, he's focused on nothing but speed his whole career, but you're...
わかる。ひなたの言いたいことぐらい分かっている。俺だって勝ちたい。だがしかし、ここで飛ばなきゃ、俺じゃない。
That's kind of fair. He's kind of saying, if I throw myself into something I've never really practiced, the chances of it actually helping are pretty nil. And this is like the best counter would be, Prez, we should have practiced for situations where you weren't fast enough. If I change up my playstyle, what's the point? I definitely remember holding that sentiment in the past. Sometimes it stops becoming all about winning or losing. It didn't matter who I was playing or how the match was going. I just wanted to go all out and bring my full potential. So as long as I did that, nothing else mattered.
俺は飛ぶんだ。
I know letting him do this would make the bad second. I know I need to stop him. However, I also know there's no way I'll win that argument. Prez, slow down before touching the buoys. If you're going too fast, you're making the turn to the next line always kills your speed.
分かった。
Go speed right past Inui. Oh,
Okay!
he's not going to, but I want to see him do it. Score reaches 0-22, but that's not important here. Prez has finally managed to catch up to Inui.
ひなた、俺は音速の壁を越えるから、ソニックブームに気をつけろ。
Will do. There's no way to reach the speed of sound with grav shoes, but who cares? He said he'd do it, so I just have to believe in him. And at the last, Prez passes Inui. Now he's in front, and she's got no way of stopping him with smart positioning. It's time. Go beyond speed of light.
Okay!
It's so cheesy. Oh, look at that. He reaches unimaginable speed. Look at that. Like that looks so cool, but it's so dumb. Go, Prez! The crowd starts to make a commotion as they take in the miracle before them, but that quickly transforms into cheers. The venue's filled with thunderous applause. It's gonna be one of those situations where he's gonna lose, but he's gonna feel like a champion. He doesn't slow down before fourth. He touches fourth, bringing the score 122. Unable to turn, Prez just keeps jutting forward in a straight line, shooting outside the field. And at that exact moment, I hear the sound of the whistle yet again, which signals the end of the match. Okay, like if the match had been able to continue, that would have been a disaster. But all right, whatever. You actually pulled it off.
速さの上限は高速だったな。
Technically, yes. Yeah, huh? Yeah.
高速まではまだ遠いな。
Okay, sure. Right.
ということは、俺はまだまだ速くなれるってことだな。
That was fun. It's kind of fun finally seeing a real tournament now. Definitely.
ありがとな、ひなた。いろいろ助かったぜ。
That's not true.
ちょっとの間このまま飛ぶから、すまんが、後のことはよろしく頼むぜ。
No sweat. You did great, Prez.
おう。
I hear the sounds of his mic cutting out. He's just gonna fly off into the sunset, and then as I look toward him, I see inertia carrying him outside the tournament venue. I let the tension escape my shoulders and cast my eyes down. I really thought he had a chance of winning the tournament. Admittedly, it was only a small chance, but as his coach, I'm responsible for this failure. Huh? I hear someone approaching me from behind.
すごかったです。フィールドがあと50メートル長いか。時間が倍だったら負けてたと思います。
I think that's pretty kind of kind of her to actually point out, be saying just like, hey, if the lines were longer, or if we were playing twice as long, he would have pulled a win off right there. Like, she's like, we really should have had that locked down, but he actually managed to break through. It took too long, but it was still impressive. That's true, but there's no point dealing with what ifs. What was that about going easy on her? She's way too good.
相性が良かっただけです。本当はそんなに強くないですね。スピーダー相手が得意なだけですから。
That's a fair assessment. It'd be fun to see her fly against another like a fighter and see if she is really like struggling with them. But I feel like she's fast enough. She probably knows how to deal with them too. Really?
そうです。
She smiles as she gives me that short response. Question: What kind of grav shoes are those?
アバロンのアグラベインです。
Agravanes from Avalon. What great names. They must be from the UK. Agravanes from...
アグラベイン。
I've never heard that manufacturer or model.
イギリスでは小さい有名です。
Small famous? Does she mean it's not very well known? Wait, but then why famous? Thanks for the info. Good luck with the rest of your matches. I'll be rooting for you.
ありがとうございます。応援してくれるだなんて優しいですね。
She says that with a brilliant smile on her face, then spins around and runs off to Inui. Hey, good job. She doesn't look all that strong. I wonder what she'd do against fighters or all-rounders. Strange. That faintly smiling yet mostly expressionless look on her face is stuck in my head. Oh, how did I not notice earlier? She's that girl I met at the terminal near my place. I see. No wonder her form was so beautiful. She's an FC player, huh?
あれ？部長は一緒じゃなかったんですか？
I feel like he either flew into the sunset or he's like been called to Valhalla, one of the two. He wanted to keep flying around.
残念でした。マサヤがもっとうまく指示を出せば勝てた試合じゃないの？
That's very debatable. Of course, Misaki noticed. Well, guess my average Skywalker would. Still, Prez was fighting his own battle there, so it wasn't my place to stop him. I figured it's smarter to let him do what he wanted.
部長はそういうタイプだからそうなんだろうけどさ。
I get the feeling that part of Prez frustrates Misaki.
でも兄ちゃんにしてはかっこよかったと思う。
Oh, he'll love you to say that, Madoka.
ほ？急にブラコン発言？いやいや、あの兄ちゃん相手にブラコンはありえないでしょう。
I love how she's clarifying. She's like, look, you weren't my brother? No, just no.
そんなことないと思いますけど。
What, do you like him?
その話はともかくとして、ドワーッとスピードを出してたし、最後にビョーンって飛んでいったし、見てる人もすごくわーわーなってたし。そうですよね。すごく盛り上がっていました。派手な試合だったからグラシを買う人が増えて、白瀬さん大喜びかもね。
Oh, sure.
部長ってあんなに速く飛べるんだってびっくりしましたよ。ですよね。私今の試合を見て感動しました。ああいうのも FC なんですね。
I suppose so. Asuka curls up in excitement as she says that with a smile on her face.
一体何ですか？すごい試合になってるとか？でも試合はまだスタートしてないみたいですけど。
Do we have a celebrity here or something then? Why is everyone screaming?
あ、スタートラインを見て。さっきの
Oh
プレイ選手です。
gosh, who the heck is this?
この試合の選手ってことは。
Madoka runs her eyes over a copy of the tournament bracket.
あの選手は上通り社学園の。
Kamidorisha? I thought they didn't have an FC club.
でもはっきりと上通り社学園って書いてあるよ。それで選手名は。
Is it gonna be his sister?
どうしたの？難しい漢字で読めないとかですか？キラキラネームってやつ？ じゃなくて謎の覆面って書いてあるんだけど。
How do you even do that? I guess you could just put it down as your like name on your registration, but why would they accept that?
謎の覆面？すごすぎるよね。
Agreed. What the fetch? You think they put mysterious part themselves?
自己申告で謎だったら謎という意味の深淵に迫りそうな気がするけど、自称謎っていうのは謎なのかという問題ですね。
That's eloquently put, Mashiro.
そんなことよりそれってありなの？
Exactly. I'd say no, but apparently within the rules, since they're set to compete and all.
敵か味方か。
I don't think we can classify them. We should just classify them as enigma or anomaly. Again, FC is a solo sport, so of course they're our enemy. Does she really just like saying that line?
試合が始まりそうですよ。
Let's see how this goes. The ref positions themselves,
ごくり。
and then the whistle's blown.
どんな選手なんでしょうか。ドキドキです。
Why you that tongue sticking out of your mouth? Alright, they better have something special up their sleeve with a name like Mysterious Masked Skywalker. Based on the Hebas from Misaki, I guess they're an all-rounder? Usually, only all-rounders use that model, but you do see some fighters put them on from time to time.
華麗な技を出すかトリッキーな技で翻弄するか、とにかく普通じゃないことだけは間違いないでしょうね。
Everyone seemed to be on the same page. Cheers fill the beach as the match begins. Let's wait and see. Show me your moves, Masked Skywalker. The whistle blows, signaling the end of the match. Asuka and I then look at each other instantly.
その普通でしたよね。
I mean, they might be masked, but they're just probably, like, embarrassed. Yep, they were perfectly average all-rounder.
すごく基本に忠実だったよね。
We can barely criticize people.
そして負けましたね。
Masked Skywalker lost their match. The final score is 4-5.
とっても惜しい感じではあったよね。
Feels like no one knows how to react to that outcome. There was something special about Masked Skywalker. They weren't particularly weak or strong in any aspect. Basically, average is the perfect word for them. Well, let's just forget this ever happened and move on.
そうだね。
This is real awkward.
そろそろマシロッチをアップしておいた方がいい時間だよ。
Oh, lovely. Oh,
わかりました。
I'm so sorry. You're gonna do fine. Don't look all depressed. You haven't lost yet.
だからそういうことはもっと力強く言ってください。
I was gonna say something. It's like, don't just say it like it is inevitable.
一回戦から
Are we just skipping it? We don't even get to see it? You really need to get over that. She's just been whining about this nonstop the whole time.
だって佐藤院さんが相手だなんて正直に言って勝てる気が全くしません。率直に言って不可能としか思えません。いた。
Yep. I gave Mashiro a light slap on the head.
痛い。運が悪かった上に理不尽な暴力まで振るわれた。
Relax. Just trying to get you to calm down.
落ち着いてますよ。落ち着いて考えてみたらやっぱり不可能だって言ってるんです。いた。なんですかポンポンポンポンポンポンポンポン。
Like, for best it was 2. I didn't slap you like that. Stop exaggerating. And try. Look, going to a match expecting to lose is rude to your opponent. You should at least try to win, even if she's obviously better than you.
そう言われても。
She may not look it, but Satoin-san's a very nice, diligent person.
はい。何ですか急に。
Because you guys are very similar in that way? You agree, yeah?
思いますけど、高飛車そうな外見に反して真面目でいい人ですけど、それが
Her playstyle is the same.
そうかもしれませんけど、一体何を言おうとしているんですか？
Just let me finish. Listen, Satoin-san's an all-rounder, and all-rounders focus on exploiting their opponent's weaknesses.
それは分かってますけど。
When they face a fighter, they subdue them with speed, and when they're up against a speedster, they take them on in a dogfight. In other words, most all-rounders play around their opponent's gameplay.
なんか犯罪の匂いがしてきましたね。
Well, change things up a bit. In fact, last time she saw you fly, you were trying to fly as a fighter. You can use that to your advantage. Oh, come on. How? Anyway, in my mind, there are two kinds of ultra-serious people.
と言いますと？
One directs that sentiment toward themselves, while the other directs it towards others. The former is usually very briefly belief-driven, while the latter is usually concerned about how something might impact others. Which do you think Satoin-san is? Ooh, okay. So one directs the sentiment toward themselves, and what's that sentiment? The kind of ultra-serious people. If I tend to be a fairly ultra-serious person, and I definitely am the second, where, like, concerned about how something might impact others. I'm always thinking about that. I think that's how Satoin is as well.
佐藤院さんは後者ですね。
Right, so basically, Satoin-san adapts both her personality and playstyle to her opponent, which we can use to our advantage.
なんだか顔が黒いですよ。
I mean, are you opposed to that? Whatever it takes to win.
それで具体的にどうしたらいいんですか？
Jump past the first line right away.
私はスピーダーなんですけど。
I know, but if you fight her using normal speed or tactics, she'll take you down right away. You realize how much better she is, right?
それは分かってますけど。
That's why you're going to play like a fighter.
スピーダーなのにファイターみたいに？
Yeah, there's some players who do that, okay? Just trust me. There aren't many, but some people do focus on dogfights despite wearing speed or shoes. And those players utilize the speed from the shoes to focus on hit and run tactics.
でも私はそういう練習をしてませんよ。
You used to be a fighter.
確かにしてましたけど。
You need to pull out all the stops if you want to stand a chance against her.
それはそうだろうと思いますけど。
Alright, Mashiro, come on. Yeah, here's the thing. Messiah has got to, like, bring it around to something she understands. Talk about it in gaming. Like, talk about the game. Talk about her strategies in gaming that have correlations. Like, meet her on ground that she can understand. After you jump ahead, position yourself above Satoin-san to start putting pressure on her.
前じゃなくて上ですか？
She'll have a hard time seeing you when you're above her. It's difficult to keep an inverted flight, which pretty much rules that option out for her.
でも
Mashiro glances to the side. When I follow her gaze, I see Satoin-san talking to Shindo-san.
進藤さんがセコンドなら見えなくてもプレッシャーにならないのでは？
Good point. Shindo-san's definitely going to accurately relay Mashiro's position to her, which hurts this plan. It'll still work. People get uneasy when they can't see things they know are right in front of them, right?
そうかもしれませんが、それでプレッシャーをかけ続けたらどうなりますか？
She'll start acting cautious, which should slow her down. Plus, like I said, Satoin-san's a considerate person. If the decision to engage or not is on her shoulders...
佐藤院さんがドッグファイトを挑んでくる？
Exactly. Now we get to the most important part. Once she rushes you, make a run for it and force her to a battle of speed.
つまり佐藤院さんの裏をかくと。
I mean, yeah, I feel like we already covered that, but sure. Bingo. Mashiro stands no chance in a straightforward match. But luckily, Satoin-san watched Mashiro during the training camp, which means she's under the impression that she's a fighter. That may have just saved us.
できますかね？
If you stay high enough, you can use gravity to accelerate quickly, beat her. Satoin-san, on the other hand, will probably be pretty mad she got tricked and lose her composure.
佐藤院さんが最初から V を狙ったら？
Then it'll become a pure speed battle, which puts you at an advantage despite your gap in skill.
いいことだらけに聞こえますね。
Honestly, I doubt it's going to go that well. Mashiro doesn't have as much experience with the Speedster yet, but she probably can't win even if she has the advantage.
私を騙してます？
What would I get out of tricking you? I'll make sure to sound confident to keep her spirits high.
気づいたら羽毛布団を買ったりしてませんかね？
I'd have to be a professional con man to somehow sell you something through all this.
わかりました。言う通りにやってみます。
Good. You gotta believe you can win, and if you can pull this off, Misaki will be real happy.
そうですね。頑張ります。
Mashiro clenches her fist in front of her chest, nods, and flies toward first. Come on, Mashiro, I believe. Now I just have to hope Satoin-san falls for our trap.
よろしくお願いしますわね。
I feel bad. I like Satoin. I hope she doesn't, like, take it too... the thing is, I also can see her totally being very pragmatic about this if she loses.
こちらこそ、私、頑張りますから。
私だって頑張りますわ。いい試合をしましょう。
はい。
Mashiro's voice sounds a bit shaky. Makes sense since it's our first tournament and all. Guess she started feeling nervous as soon as she got to her starting position. Don't forget, you need to jump to the second line right away.
わかってます。大丈夫です。
Come on, I want you to win. I want you to win.
試合を開始していいですか？
はい、よろしくてよ。
セット。
Here we go. He blows the whistle, signaling the start of their match. Alright, here we go. Satomi-san starts by staring at Mashiro. She wants to see whether Mashiro is going to jump to the next line or go for the buoy. This is a perfect chance for fake going for the buoy, but Mashiro's not ready to convincingly pull that off yet. Having confirmed that Mashiro's jumping onto the second line, Satomi-san flies on the first line, aiming for second. Right, now get in position, not too far from the buoy. Oh, make sure you aren't too close either.
わかりました。
We need to get the ball rolling as soon as possible, but getting closer to the buoy means getting closer to Satomi-san. And if she does that, there's always the risk of Satomi touching the buoy and flying straight past Mashiro.
高さはこのくらいでいいですか？
Alright, so she's going towards the buoy, and Satomi's gone for the second line, and it's like waiting to attack. Mashiro is flying about 5 meters above the line. Yeah, it's fine. Remember, Satomi-san tries to go straight down the line, it'll be a race to third.
はい。
If that happens, try to stay as high as possible.
どうしてですか？
You're trying to force her to a position that gives you the advantage, so it'd be bad if she caught you before you pulled that off. Plus, it'll probably piss her off.
なんだかハンティングしてるみたいですね。
You are. In a way, you kind of are. Satomi-san touches second. The score is 0-1 now. Satomi-san slows down and looks up at Mashiro.
まさや先輩、佐藤院さんにものすごく見つめられてますけど。
She's trying to figure out your game. Is Mashiro's position a dead giveaway? But that's the only way I could see her winning this. After waiting for a while, she approached Mashiro instead of going for third.
なるほどなるほど。そういうことですのね。
まさや先輩、作戦が完全にバレているみたいなんですけど。
That's not much of an issue. The important question here is how she's going to react.
あ、私の方が前にいるんだから、今から V を狙いに行くというのはどうでしょうか？
No, that's against the rules.
そうでした。
A player who jumps lines can't go for the next buoy until they either make physical contact with their opponent or cross their path.
狙いは悪くないと思いますわ。V を失う危険を冒してでも、私の上のポジションをキープして。
いいえ、
そういうことですわね。
いや、決してそういうわけでは。
She is gonna annoy her.
付き合ってあげてもよろしくてよ。
Contrary to my expectations, Satomi-san's the one pursuing Mashiro. She gradually climbs, making her way toward Mashiro. At this rate, she'll reach her altitude, and our plan will go out the window. Dang, if Satomi keeps this up, Mashiro will break down before she even gets to make a move. Before it comes to that, Mashiro, do it now! Engage Satomi-san in a dogfight while she's still below you.
わかりました。
Huh? A cocky smirk rises on Satomi's face. Oh, crap.
こうも簡単に挑発に乗ってもらっては困りますわ。乗ったのは日向雅也かしら。
Satomi-san tilts forward energetically, then proceeds to swoop down. Mashiro and Satomi-san pass right by each other.
お先に失礼しますわ。
Oh no. Mashiro's now flying towards second while Satomi-san's heading toward third. Gosh darn it! Never expected her to do that.
これは一体何ですか？
Satomi-san played us. There's no point chasing after her now. Jump to the third line. Mashiro listens to me and starts flying toward the third line.
質問です。
Yeah?
佐藤院さんはドッグファイトをする気はなくて、私が佐藤院さんに挑みかかる方向をサード V の逆方向に固定してから挑発してきたということですか？
That's right. I'm sorry. Seems she outsmarted me.
ああ、なるほど。はい、わかりました。
Huh? What are you talking about?
早く飛んだり、バチバチ背中を狙い合うだけじゃなくて、こういう空気の読み合いと言えばいいんでしょうか。
Again, kind of a
そう
given.
いうのも FC なんですね。
Kind of a given, but I'm glad it's like hitting home for her now. Exactly.
なるほどなるほど。ということはですよ、次は私が佐藤院さんを騙せばいいわけですよね。
Think you can do it? Do you have a plan?
あるような。
You sound pretty uncertain. Anyway, just take the same position again. She may have beaten us just now, but the strategy was still sound.
わかりました。
Satomi-san calmly, slowly touches the third and approaches Mashiro. And that's 202. Mashiro's waiting above the center of the third line. The last time, Satomi proceeded to slowly inch closer to Mashiro. Is she doing that to preserve her stamina? Oh wait, is she trying to run down the clock maybe? We only have the first round today, so there's no need to preserve stamina, but then again, there's nothing wrong with using this chance to help form the habit. Stalling may seem dirty, but Mashiro's strategy involves us waiting, so we have no right to complain.
また同じ作戦ですの？
どうでしょうか。
Retreat diagonally upward at the same pace she's using to get close in on you.
はい。
You don't want her to close the gap if Mashiro keeps retreating. Satomi-san might give up and go for the buoy eventually. And if she does, we can turn that into a battle of speed. This is a little risky, but at the end of the day, Satomi-san's taking the bait. Things are looking up. Huh? This is weird. Mashiro's turning to the side as if she's getting pulled up by something. Are you serious? Is she gonna fall for that? It's basically a, look, what's that over there? And that makes Satomi look in that direction as well.
あれ？あの赤いの隕石じゃありませんか？
I can't believe you're doing this. Oh my gosh. Mashiro uses the chance to tilt downward, closing the distance between her and Satomi-san in an instant. Oh my gosh, she did it. Look at that. Mashiro extends her arm and touches Satomi-san's back as she flies by her. Satomi-san loses her balance completely. She essentially rolls forward. The score is now 1-2. Wow, that was real dirty. Not against the rules or anything, but I'd say that was a breach of player etiquette at least.
戻って追撃を。
No. Speed battle. Make it a speed battle. This is your chance. Not gonna work. You made contact, so it's fine for you to go for the buoy. Use your boost from that speed over to do it.
はい。
Mashiro proceeds to rush toward the buoy. Satomi-san totally lost her composure, so it should take her some time to recover. Mashiro successfully touched the fourth. That's 2-2. Amazing. I can't believe she actually managed to even the score. Go! Don't!
もしかして
No!
私勝てますか？勝つ可能性が出てきましたか？
Focus! You're gonna lose it! Maybe you do! Run! Go!
で、これから先はどうすればいいでしょうか？
Huh? I look over and finally notice that Satomi-san's floating on the first line. Never planned for this scenario.
佐藤院さんがすごく怒っているように見えるんですけど。
It was a pretty dirty trick, to be honest. She sure does, and honestly, she has every right to be. Her hair standing on end, she looks like a bloodthirsty demon.
自業自得とか言わないで作戦を考えてください。
Don't worry, an angry opponent will have a hard time making rational decisions. Just watch her closely, figure out how to slip past her.
わかりました。
私、マナー違反をする人、好
I agree.
きではありません。
Again, it's the way I would play a game like this, is that I would be a lot more focused on pitting a skill against skill, wanting to see like how we measure up. So a dirty trick like that would make me upset too, so I sympathize with her really hard here.
私も同感です。
そう思うなら今すぐ棄権しなさい。
いや、それはちょっと。
We need to work on your conviction, Mashiro.
それが嫌なら卑怯な真似を恥じて切腹すればいいのですわ。
いや、私お侍さんじゃないんで。
別にお侍さんじゃなくても切腹していいのですわ。
いや、します切腹します。
Mashiro, don't just give in.
そんなこと言われてもすごいんですから。
Whatever, just hurry up and force her into a race.
そんなこと言われても。
私から言って差し上げますわ。
Satomi-san rushes straight toward Mashiro.
ちょっと。
Yeah, this is not gonna end well. In a way, dogfights are also battles of spirits. There's no way she can put up a fight when she's that rattled. I'm pretty sure my words won't reach her anymore, but I still have to try and help her. Calm down, Mashiro. Take a deep breath. If you lose cool now, you're handing the reins over to Satomi-san. Oh. Yeah. In the end, Satomi-san got 5 points in quick succession, ending the match with a 2-7 score. Mashiro got destroyed.
ひどい目に遭いました。トラウマになりそうです。
I apologize, but maybe that just means we shouldn't do sneaky tactics. You definitely should have done that, but the idea itself wasn't bad.
そうですか?
Misleading your opponent with your gaze is the foundation of feints. It's true. I think, like, the gaze alone should have been enough. Like, the ideally, like, that split second would be all you'd need to take advantage of the situation. You didn't have to flat out lie.
じゃあ、私は間違ったことしてないってことですか?
Like I said, you shouldn't have done that. There's nothing wrong with looking to the side, but bringing up a meteorite to go made you look isn't cool. She's probably worried about getting seriously injured there.
それはそうかもしれません。
かもしれませんではなくて、不謹慎なのです。
I mean, she's kind of right. I mean, I'm kind of on Satoi's side of this one, honestly.
さっきはすみませんでした。
Mashiro bends backward at a surprising high speed, then bows her head at the same pace.
終わったことはもういいですわ。私こそ大人げなかったと反省していますの。
I don't know. I felt like it was fairly appropriate.
私こそ反省してます。あの状況で横を向くフェイントを仕掛けた勇気には敬意を表します。有坂真白、あなた見どころがありますわよ。
It was very kind of her to say that.
それでは失礼させていただきます。
That's what I like about Satoin is that like remember when Asuka got her scored on her? Like she took it in stride. It was more about like, hey, that was really impressive. And with here, even with Mashiro, and even if Mashiro made her angry, she has the perspective to be able to be like, you know what? I can still see the potential you have, and I can express my anger without overriding everything else I am expressing, which is really cool. It's a sign of of genuine maturity and sportsmanship, because it's important, even when an opponent like makes you angry, to not like let it control you. There's so many professionals in sports that like go crazy overboard over like just annoyances or little infractions. It's more understandable if it's things like, oh, they like try to attack me or tried to injure me. You know, I can understand getting upset at that. But there's people who like just get annoyed because somebody's playing like defensively and like it's making it hard for them to like, you know, do what they want to do, and they'll snap and start attacking the people. Like that's just disgusting. Satoin's a great example of sportsmanship. Satoin does a graceful twirl and takes her leave. Hear that? Yeah, promise.
そんなことを言うとは佐藤井さんも見どころありますね。
What do you even mean by that? She has promise because she's good. You should actually reflect on your actions here, Mashiro. Great, now we're seeing 2 losses in the first round already. I think we might wrap here, but I might go a little longer because I want to see, but like I want to wrap before the next like game. I really want to put a stop to this string of losses, but Misaki doesn't seem the least bit motivated. Let's crush your opponent. No mistakes allowed, since it'll help prepare you for your match with Shindo-san tomorrow. Plus, you could probably use the extra bit of confidence too.
はーい。
Come on, Misaki. What's with the lazy reply?
はっきり言って試合をしたくないです。
Really? Look, I know that your mood fluctuates like the value of a stock, but you please not give me this in the very first match?
気分屋って気分を売り物にしたことなんかない。マサヤは私の気分をいくらで買ってくれるわけ？
100 yen for you to get motivated?
安いなぁ。でも気分が変わるたびに100円もらえば時給2000円くらいいくかな。
Come on. You plan on changing your mood 20 times an hour. Anyway, forget that. Why didn't you want to compete now?
対戦相手。
What about Ichinose? Misaki directs her gaze over to a spot a few meters away from us. Satoin-san and Ichinose are talking over there. You don't want to face someone you know? I guess that's fair. A lot of people don't like facing their friends since it might make things awkward after the fact. No, I don't think that's what it is. I think what it is that Ichinose has passion and really cares. And I think Misaki, on the surface, is going to claim that she's too uptight and that it takes the fun out of it. But I think in reality, there's something deeper there. Because Misaki does clearly care. She kind of acts like she doesn't, but her actions speak louder than her words. So it's odd that like she feels thrown off. Maybe there's something about someone being so confident what they want, or being so overt about what they want. I don't know. it's just interesting because their perspectives on like their approaches to FC especially are completely opposite. Misaki sees this as a fun like distraction almost, or like a hobby or a side thing, right? Where Rika really likes like FC and wants to be successful, and she pushes herself hard every day to improve even a tiny little bit. And it's such an different approach that maybe it just feels intimidating. Sure, sometimes friendships and friendly rivalries form due to a match, but just as often, no, more often, things get awkward instead. The reason's simple. It's frustrating to lose. And because most people don't want to admit defeat, they end up blaming their opponent. Also, I think maybe not wanting to lose is a really big thing for Misaki, because she doesn't lose often. And when she does, it clearly bothers her. When the president beat her, she took that hard, like to the point where she was training on her own, imagining trying to beat him, and was struggling to see a path forward to doing so, when normally all she has to do is decide she wants to win something, and she does. You're in a competitive sport. Suck it up. I feel like that's the wrong way to go about this. FC doesn't have a large player base yet, so if you tend to face the same people over and over, that means she has to get used to this sooner rather than later.
それもちょっとあるけど、なんか言いづらいな。言いづらいっていうのは言いたくないってことじゃなくて、言葉にしづらい。マサヤは一ノ瀬ちゃんのことどう思う？体が好みとかそういうことじゃなくてだよ。
I'm glad you clarified, because I wasn't at all thinking that was what you meant. Obviously, I have to have a few screws loose to interpret her question like that.
脱いだら意外と大きいんじゃないかとか、そういう妄想の話じゃないよ。
Stop it. Oh, come on. I'm no idiot. Have a little faith here. I've never even mentioned having a dream like that. I'd say she has a steady or rather meticulous playstyle. It's rather obvious that she's a pretty by the book playstyle.
だよね。
What about it?
ちゃんとっていうのが見えすぎるから、進藤さんや佐藤院さんとは合宿の時に話したけど、別に試合をするのは嫌じゃないんだよね。
It seems like it is more about like Rika's personality that bothers her. Like her approach to life, her philosophy just like might annoy her. What? You're saying Ichinose is different somehow?
進藤さんは私より強くて、
You're really struggling to articulate your thoughts. She's never been great though, has she? I don't know if it's intentional or not. I always thought it was intentionally being obtuse, but maybe she also struggles in understanding her own feelings about things.
怖い。
Yeah, true. He's terrifying. And in fact, when he's being nice, he's scarier than he is when he's being serious. Scary, huh?
進藤さんほどじゃないけど、佐藤院さんも怖い。性格がって意味じゃないし、体がってことじゃないよ。
I feel like you think about people's bodies more than anybody else. Why do you keep assuming that's what I'd think? Look, I know exactly what you mean by scary. I used to be a player myself. I'm painfully aware of how it feels to fear an opponent. It's only natural to get nervous before facing someone good. Same goes for when you face an opponent that's hard to read, and sometimes even ordinary players with conventional playstyles can make you sweat because of their mastery of their skill. Feeling scared of your opponent is a perfectly natural emotion.
その怖さがあるから、私も全力でやろうと思えるってとこがあると思う。
Oh, okay.
怖い相手と試合するのは楽しいし。
Interesting. So she likes the thrill, but she doesn't feel that with Rika because Rika's so by the book. Rika is the Ultramarines of FC, where she's just like, just the Codex, dude, by the Codex. In other words, you don't want to face Ichinose because she doesn't scare you.
そう言うと、私がすごく傲慢な人みたいだけど、そういうこと。練習がすごく丁寧だから、試合で何をしてくるのか、全部見えちゃう気がする。
Maybe. But I have a feeling she could surprise you. Why don't we go into assuming she will surprise you and then be disappointed later if she doesn't? I get where she's coming from, but you know, you're underestimating your opponent's a surefire way to lose. The wry smile forms on Misaki's face as she looks down at her toes.
そういう意味じゃないんだってば。 それに一ノ瀬ちゃんは真面目だから負けたくないって気持ちを込めてくると思うんだよね。
I mean, she literally said that yesterday, so... Right, she even said as much this morning. Oh, yeah, this morning. Right, it wasn't even yesterday.
うん、そういうとこがなんていうか
Interesting.
って感じ。
I kind of get what she's saying, but I can't articulate it any better than she is right now. So, like, I kind of, like, that makes me even more sympathetic towards Misaki here, actually, than I thought I was going to be, which is interesting. Why? Not wanting to lose is nothing special. I mean, come on. What player in their right mind would actually want to lose a match?
それは分かってるんだけど、一ノ瀬ちゃんはまっすぐに込めてくると思うから、それにたじろぐというか。
Why would that throw you off? Maybe Misaki... Maybe inadvertently, Misaki's kind of a people pleaser. She likes people being in a good mood. She likes kind of goofing around, having like a positive experience and like walking away with good feelings. But Rika is so focused and wants to win really badly and doesn't see anything besides that, or she can't enter this with a good-natured spirit in a way. It makes it so that Misaki can only see her as a true opponent, like not as like a rival. It's more of just like an obstacle, and it throws her off because it's such a robotic way of going about it. Now we know that that Rika is not robotic. She's very passionate, but from Misaki's perspective, she might be feeling very inhuman right now, and that's throwing her off because she kind of like engages on the social line of things more than anything. How does it throw you off exactly?
それを前面に出すくらいならプレイに集中すればいいのにって思っちゃって戸惑っちゃうんだよね。
Okay. Oh, now it all makes sense. I think I finally get what you were trying to say. Ichinose is sure that victory awaits her as long as she does everything by the book. And it seems that way of thinking pisses Misaki off. If you want to win, then do everything in your power to win. That's Misaki's point. Simply believing isn't good enough, yet Ichinose keeps mentioning it. Don't get me wrong, having faith in yourself is important. If you're not confident in your own skills, the accuracy of your moves will suffer, and you don't trust yourself to perform the moves you practiced, you'll miss the right timing to use them. And if you don't believe you can win from the bottom of your heart, you never will. However, Ichinose's state of mind is a little different. Seems almost like she's believing the fact that she believes in herself, and that makes any sense. Ah, okay. So she's doing the whole believe in the you that believes in me type of thing. She believes that she believes in herself, but does she really? Okay, here's a great way to think about it. Does Rika believe in herself because she knows she should believe in herself? Or does she actually believe in herself? And that distinction matters. And that's effectively the same as not truly believing in anything. Forget Ichinose's issues. You need to focus on winning.
まあそうだよね。
Misaki forms a forced smile after saying that.
で、コーチ、どうやりましょうか？
Alright, so right here, he's noticed that she doesn't really quite accept that. She says it in such an undefined way. This advice here, forget Ichinose's issues, you just need to focus on winning. I think that's bad advice. I think we're seeing a lot of Messiah not giving great coaching advice, because it feels like every time he's had a conversation with them, even though he's noticing things, it feels like he doesn't like follow it through. For Mashiro, for Shion, and now for Misaki, like he gets so close to actually seeing like the potential issue or what's like on their mind or like a potential problem they could face. And it's not about the strategy, it's about it's about the flyer, it's about the individual. And he doesn't quite follow through with it. I wonder if that's something we're going to see him get better at, because right now it feels like he's being like an okay coach, but he's on the same level as them, where he's like he's a very flawed coach, like they're very flawed flyers. Like, not that they're bad. He's not bad, but he's not quite got it yet. I feel like we're seeing that here really, really well. She asked me that in a teasing tone. He practiced with Prez, so you should be used to fighting speedsters. Plus, Ichinose is a lot slower than Prez, so her speed should pose no problem. Still, she's going to use a lot more feints than Prez, which will make you doubt what to do when she closes in. When that happens, don't make the first move.
一ノ瀬ちゃんが動いてから？
Well, that's the thing. Once she does it by the book, she's not the kind to do a true feint. Yeah, basically whatever she tries to force you to make a decision, throw that right back at her.
なるほどね。一ノ瀬ちゃんのフェイントは正直だからってこと？
Bingo. You can pull that off, right?
なんか気が重いな。
How do we fix that? I mean, the cheap answer is udon, but I'm not sure that's a good approach. Enough. Get serious already.
わかりました。じゃ、行ってきます。
Misaki flies off towards the first in your usual tottering manner.
よろしくお願いします。
Okay, I think we will end here. This is a good place to stop. I feel like it might have been better to hold that first conversation before the match, like as part of like the next episode, but I kind of don't mind it because I was in a good headspace for it. So hopefully I got to remember that it happened. I'm sure it will. I'm pretty good about that, not losing track of things. Although things are getting very chaotic here on the channel. We're going to see how things play out. I do have a quick trip that's happening over a weekend. It shouldn't be too disruptive, but it will probably be disruptive. So I'm guessing that 1 or 2 episodes of stuff is gonna not be uploaded, just because I'll be away for a little bit. But there's a potential on the horizon. I can't go into details because I don't know what's gonna exactly happen or how it's gonna play out, but I have reached out and coordinated with a group of indie visual novel developers. Like, they basically get together in these groups to do their version of visual novel game jams and that kind of thing. And they're having an event coming up where they specifically, like, kind of requested saying, hey, if anybody makes content on YouTube or Twitch around visual novels, it might be interesting to have you coordinate and feature some products and stuff on your channel. And I really like supporting like new devs, and so I'm gonna see if there's anything I can do with that, because that sounds like a really cool way to kind of engage with the visual novel community, especially the active developing community, in a more dynamic way. Because the whole concept is supposed to be making content where you're like trying out games and giving good feedback. And if there's anything I can do, it's giving good, heartfelt, like, I want to see you succeed feedback. I love being able to do that, because constructive criticism is like basically my MO. It's my call, like, not my calling. It feels like my calling though. It's like, if I could do anything, I can do that. I can be supportive, but I can also be fair and like objective, where I can say, hey, here's the flaws and weaknesses. I can love the story, but I can also point out like, hey, it could have been better here. I want to be able to do that in a constructive way for people who are trying to make new visual novels. We want to see amazing visual novels like we've been able to enjoy on the channel. We don't want them to stop, or to be like to never come out anymore. We can't get too hung up on the past, because the past started with visual novel creators who were indie developers too. So we need to look at the modern indie developers, because how often have we been disappointed by these massive like VN companies when they are really successful, and then they slowly just fizzle out. I mean, look at like, it's sad to say, but look at Psy Adventure. Look at the Steins Gate. Like have you, like, it kind of popped up on my feed, but have you seen like the Steins Gate, the Steins reboot or redo, whatever it is? Basically, the summary of it is they're using the Steins Gate Elite script, which already was the inferior script. They are cutting a bunch of content to shorten the game, so it's not a 40-50 hour play. Rather, it's supposed to be like a 20-hour playthrough. And one of those hours is the super new bonus content that goes on a different world line. It kind of goes down to different like experience. But from the reviews, it sounds like it's an hour's worth of content, which like kind of makes sense, because if you know Steins Gate and like the way its branches work, the deviating branch paths do tend to be pretty short. So it's within line of the formula, but it's kind of sad that they're making this whole hullabaloo and releasing a game at full price that's half the length of the core visual novel, not the better of the 2 scripts, and adds 1 extra basically sequence. It's like, come on. Why can't we do more than that? Like, maybe they're just really hurting for money, and Steins Gate's kind of like their cash cow. But that's a sad. So anyway, support new developers, support new publishers. Let's get some more support to these people who want to tell good stories and just don't have the copious resources that these bigger companies have. So anyway, wow, I ranted about that a while. Let's go ahead and wrap things up here. Thank you so much for your support, especially for your patrons and channel members, all of that good stuff. Thank you for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And until this video, watch video to see me in next. I'll see you there.